Alright, thanks. Okay. And let me tell the other side to go. Alright, Mayor, whenever you're ready.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you for all coming out today for this press conference. I'm John Hammock, the mayor of Tallassee. I'm here with Matthew Higgins, our chief of police. Never when I took office in 2016 would I have ever thought that I would be speaking to you about this today, but this is unprecedented times that call for unprecedented measures. Effective April the 6th, Monday at 10 p.m., we will be going into a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. every day. This is an executive order that the chief of police and myself will be signing. Now, if the governor comes out with a stay-at-home order that is more stringent than our executive order, of course that will supersede our executive order. And if she comes out with it before Monday, we will not sign this executive order. So we're going to wait till close of business on Monday at 4 o'clock here at City Hall, and the chief and I will sign it at that time. Right now I'm going to turn it over to Chief to give some details on how we will enforce this. And if you have any questions, you can let us know.
Thank you, Mayor. This is not something that the mayor and I have taken lightly. We've had a lot of discussion about it. We've tried to give some time for the nation and the state to do some different measures themselves. But at this time, we just feel like for the safety of our citizens, this benefits us the most at this time. And so, as the mayor stated, we'll enact it a 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Of course, essential employees of businesses that are traveling to and from work, there will be some exemptions in that. You know, hospital workers, public safety, people going to and from businesses. I know that, we have some factories in town that work odd hours. We're going to ask those businesses to make sure that their employees have some kind of identification, some kind of letter possibly stating that they are, on a shift that requires them to be out, say at 2 or 3 in the morning. We're hoping that this is not something that we have to enforce. We're hoping that the citizens will just comply and do what needs to be done. This is for everybody, safety, and that's what we're about, is everybody's safety. I completely understand this is not something we take lightly, but I have family members that fall into high-risk categories, and so it is a serious thing. And while you yourself may not be that person, you may be the person that contracts it and gives it to that person. And so we're just trying to cut down on some of the gathering, some of the hanging out, the things like that, because we shut down schools to keep kids safe from being together, and so we're trying to help keep kids from hanging out together out of school. If they could hang out, then we would still have school going on. And so just trying to do what's best at this time. Hopefully this will not last long, but we'll do what we need to do until that time.
What happens if people violate this policy?
Right now it's punishable as up to a $500 fine. So we will be out, we will be making stops, and we're going to use best judgment and try our best to encourage people just to go home, but if need be, it is punishable by a fine.
Any idea how long this curfew will be in place?
Well, we're just going to monitor the COVID-19 cases. I think right now the last numbers that I saw recently were 19 in Elmore County, I think 17 or 18 in Tallassee County, the two counties that we were in. A number of deaths. Talking to people in the medical field, they think the next 2 weeks are going to be crucial. They think these numbers are going to go up. So we're just trying to be proactive and not reactive. We've been looking at this all week, and we're not like larger cities like Birmingham or Tuscaloosa that already had this in place. We're limited on our staff to try to work and putting something like this together on paper and letting our city lawyer, John Smith from Balsh and Bingham, look at it, make sure everything's in place, talking with the court magistrate, the chief, make sure what our powers are and what kind of powers we don't have. And we're just trying to do what we think's right to keep the citizens of Tallassee and the surrounding area safe. We've tried to be proactive. We've shut down the rec center, the library, the senior center for activities. We've shut down City Hall access from the public coming in. We're doing everything over the phone. We've got our city employees with the public works on 2 rotating shifts of 9. Of course, the water filter and sewer treatment workers still have to work. Police and fire and some of the people here in City Hall that process payments and do the day-to-day operations. But we're running on a skeleton crew, and I'm just ready to get this over with so we can get back to some sense of normalcy.
Mayor, is the media exempt?
Media exempt? I would say that would be
in official capacity.
Yeah, I say if one of my transmitters calls me in the middle of the night and says, "I hate to wake you up," which they have a personality that, but we're off the air, something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question for Chief Higgins. Last week, the city closed all of the parks and recreation areas.
Yes.
Are your officers issuing citations to those who do not follow those orders?
If need be, yes, ma'am. We're monitoring parks. Matter of fact, yesterday, I haven't been just sitting in the office. I've been out riding. Yesterday, I went and checked ball fields and things like that during the day. And we know this is difficult. I mean, we couldn't have any more beautiful weather. Trust me, I'd like to be doing something else also. But like I said, right now, our job is the safety of the citizens, and that's what's foremost right now. And so, I'd rather suffer through a little discomfort now than have to deal with something long term. And so that's what we're trying to do right now is keep people, encourage them not to hang out in the parks, not to hang out at the ball fields, and things like that.
If someone works, say, 3rd shift,
Yes, sir.
what they provide some sort of documentation to show that that's where they're going if they're pulled over?
Yes, sir. We're a small town, so we're pretty familiar with what normal hours are and when our traffic's heavy coming in to and from plants and things like that. We've already had discussions. Most of the businesses in town are all closed now before 10 o'clock, which is one of the deciding factors. I think right now one of the latest staying open, of course, Walmart with, people being able to get supplies, they're closing at 8:30. So, we went around and checked with things before we just made this decision. And so, yes, sir, we're encouraging them. Most every business has some type of ID. If I work at Neptune and GKN or the hospital, I have an employee badge of some type. And so that's what we're encouraging these businesses to make sure that they have that, so that if they do get pulled over by an officer for some reason, they'll have some identification knowing that they are en route to work or on their way home from work.
Any discussion on a full quarantine order? Like some of the larger, like you said, we're not Birmingham or anything, but any discussion on the quarantine or safe at home order?
Not at this time. Right now, we're just trying to stick with the evening hours so that people can still try their best to make these daytime things that they need to do with grocery store trips and things like that. But like the mayor said, if the state or the federal government come out with something more stringent, then we'll follow suit with the state and federal government.
We want to encourage everyone to practice their social distancing that's been recommended. Wash your hands, sanitize your hands if possible. Only go out to the grocery store and to get the essential goods that you need and try to get back home to your family. We need to take this seriously. I really think that these numbers are going to climb over the next 2 weeks, and we need to do whatever we can to protect our loved ones. And I hate that we're having to put some restriction on people's rights and liberties that so many people have fought and died for this country for so many years. But with the public safety issue at hand, I don't see any other way around it at this point.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief.